What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before we begin, let me say thank you so much to each and every single one of you that have made this channel possible. I couldn't do it without you. So if you like what you see and you enjoy the content, if you haven't done so already, I appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, comment in the comments section below, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Also, I have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box below. I'm currently auctioning off one of my high-grade cards to raise money for my family because my dad's funeral expenses were really astronomical, and it's kind of my duty to help out my family with that. And I got a big sale last night from one of my loyal customers. Of course, I will include bonus cards with this particular order, like I always do. You know who you are. But I always appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody across the board from the various hobbies. So, the great Megatron debate has begun, folks. This here is the latest drop from Hasbro. That's the Studio Series 86 Megatron. This is not G1 Megatron. Why is a Nike Air Jordan here? Well, it's because I'm going to rub it in people's faces. First off, we have a culture of it, what, who pronoun weirdos that are out there, and anti-white people and all that kind of stuff. You know, who, especially what happened recently with these white people being beaten to a pulp recently. And I've been seeing this come across my feed. First off, a white guy invented Nike Air Jordan. Second off, a white guy designed the Nike Air Jordan. Stop appropriating my culture. You it, what, who, BLM, Antifa types that are out there, okay? Take off your dog costumes. Pull the rivets and staples and hooks, fish hooks, or magnets or whatever the hell it is you got in your faces. Wash out the Kool-Aid from your hair. Take a shower. All right, look in the mirror and accept that you got skin flaps and moles and cheese on your neck flaps, and you look like a potato. You're shaped like an egg. You have a head like Gumby. Yeah, go and Google who Gumby is. You'll understand the reference. All right. There's such a thing as natural selection. If you have disabilities or anything like that, or you're a little spooky and strange, all you have to do is look at a guy like Ricky Berwick and look what he did to himself. Turn a disadvantage into an advantage. Hashtag Berwick for president. Jesus, man, do I really have to spell this out? Because, not for nothing, people today just refuse to accept reality. I look at Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas is a man. And now Leah Thomas has been stripped of his accolades because the majority of the citizens in this country cannot be lied to and shall not be lied to. That's why I have this Nike Air Jordan over here. This is the Justin Timberlake Tinker Hatfield edition of the Nike Air Jordan 3. Invented by a white guy, designed by a white guy. Stop that! Stop appropriating my culture. This is not G1 Megatron. This is the Leah Thomas of Megatrons, okay? To wind this back a little bit, by the way, if it wasn't for guys my age, you wouldn't even have Nike Air Jordans in the first place. I'm almost 50 years old. We did this already. Stop that. If it wasn't for us kids in these 70s and 80s, you wouldn't have G.I. Joe, Transformers, Voltron, Thundercats, He-Man, Nike Air Jordans, all that kind of stuff. God, you people are freaking ignorant. I'm not saying you have to be a man baby or a man child for the rest of your life. Obviously, I'm a toy collector just like most of you are, but escapism is healthy. But don't try to rub a thing in my face claiming that it is what it is not. This is not G1 Megatron. He looks like G1 Megatron. He feels like G1 Megatron. He's designed to emulate G1 Megatron, but he is not G1 Megatron. This is, okay? This is G1 Megatron. This is how he was marketed in the 80s when I was a child. Don't forget, he was a Walther P-38 uncle from the Japanese market from Takara. And then he was imported here and rebranded Megatron. Okay? I actually have Goodbye Megatron right there, as a matter of fact, who also happens to transform into a Walther P-38 handgun. But this is how he was originally released. This is how he was depicted in 2 seasons of the G1 Transformers cartoon and the Transformers the movie. Okay? Boy, evidence sucks, doesn't it? Now, I'll balance the scale here a little bit. I'll be a little fair to some of you out there, all right, from the other side of the coin. I have my collection of Megatrons. I do have Galvatron there only because, well, he's a dick. But in this universe, this is Transmetal's Megatron from Beast Wars. We call him Megatron because that's how he was named, and this is the Japanese version, by the way. All right, he carries the name Megatron. How many Johns and Joes and Toms and Franks and Nancys and Marys do you know? Quite a few. So he's the successor to the original G1 Megatron. And in that universe, it fits, right? Just like Transmetal 2 Megatron, which is right back there. All right, that's my upgraded Transmetal's Megatron. That's not the original one. That's from the reissue or the reimagining of this action figure. Great, great Megatron, by the way. I love this guy. You got the Barney the Dinosaur Megatron right there from Beast Wars. All right, we got my Hegemon, which is a kit bash of 2 Hegemon figures, and he transforms into a gun, so what's the problem there? I have my New Age Romulus right here. Some idiots were commenting, and especially if you get personal, I'm going to nuke you off my channel. I'm going to block you from commenting once you start getting personal with stuff. New Age Romulus, aka G1 Megatron, he transforms into a proper handgun, you know. Then you have my my Transformers Prime Megatron. This is an official Hasbro release. This is a knockoff oversized Megatron right there from Transformers Prime. And now we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes of this argument, especially with these two. Okay? We're going to bring them front and center. These two Megatrons right here, in their respective universe, they're fine to call them Megatron because it's basically a retelling of G1. And yeah, he turns into a Cybertronian jet. That's fine. Calling him Megatron in that universe, in that canon, that's fine. I'll be right back. I forgot something here. Because as you all know, I don't script my videos, folks. I just come right off the cuff. We have this Megatron. This is a Tankatron, all right? This is from War for Cybertron, right? He transforms into a tank. But in that continuity, in that universe, he is a tank. That's fine, but he is not G1 Megatron. He emulates G1 Megatron. He looks like G1 Megatron, but he is not G1 Megatron. That is not G1 Transformers, okay? That's a retelling from a different angle, coming from a Cybertronian point of view until they came back to Ancient Earth, and you all know, excuse me, how awful War for Cybertron was. I thought it was gloomy, dreary. Oh, God, don't even get me started with the voice actor that did Beast Wars Megatron back there. Oh, man, was that awful. But he looks like Megatron. Him and him are in the same category, okay? It emulates the G1 Megatron, feels like the G1 Megatron, but in their universes, to me, this is a Devastation Megatron from the video game. Because in that continuity, in that universe, he fits as a tank. That's fine. It's a retelling of the original G1 story. Just like with this, War for Cybertron, a retelling of the story, but it is not G1. It's not Generation 1. It's not the cartoon that I grew up with. All right, this Megatron can get away with that, because that's a whole retelling from a different point of view, from a different angle. I really, really love Transformers Prime. I'm sorry, I'm a fan. I do have a couple Transformers Prime action figures, and I still want to get more. I do have a couple Optimus Primes up there from Transformers Prime, but in that continuity, in that universe, it's okay that he's a Cybertronian jet, just like in War for Cybertron. All right? He can transform into a tank, and don't you dare, and I said this before, bring up Tankatron from Generation 2, all right? That is a Japanese import rebranded as Megatron. He was Megastorm in Beast Wars 2. Stop that. You're not going to convince me that that's Megatron. It's Tankatron, or Megastorm as he's known as. But it's the Gen Zers. It's the it, what, who pronoun, alphabet, rainbow, child-touching, bull ring in the nose with the magnets and the fish hooks, the anti-gun weirdos and all that kind of stuff, the woke mob that is causing this debate. I am a 48-year-old grown man. I pay rent. I have a lease. I pay car insurance. All right, I have to shop for my own food. I have to make sure that I have gas in my car. You know, I have to make sure I keep the electric going by paying the electric bill. In other words, I'm a goddamn ass grown adult. So I should jolly well be able to choose what I want to buy for myself. And as a grown adult, I have every right to have and own this. He transforms into a Walther P-38. That's my 16 special Megatron, which emulates that Megatron. That's actually a knockoff by the way. I reviewed that on the channel many moons ago. Go check that video out. But that's how he was marketed. That's how he was sold. This will forever be, and forevermore, for time immemorial, be the one true Megatron. Any Megatron that transforms into a handgun is a true representation of G1 Megatron. Just like my kit-bashed Hegemon right here. And this thing is a nightmare to transform. If you've ever seen videos of this thing, you're going to want to go to therapy after fiddling with this guy. Believe me what I'm telling you. And of course, my before-mentioned New Age Romulus that some idiot out there was pointing out, well, just go buy a New Age Romulus. Way ahead of you, son. Jeez. And Galvatron, well, he needs no explanation. We already know the story behind Galvatron. Like I said, I just put him there because he's a dick. But you're not going to convince me that this is G1 Megatron. This is Tankatron. He turns into a tank. All right? Again, he looks and feels and emulates G1 Megatron. Very good representation. But he's a tank. And in that continuity, in that universe, labeling him and marketing him as a G1 Megatron is absolutely incorrect and wrong, whether you like it. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. That's like trying to say, yo, Michael Jordan's be about black culture, son. No, it's not. It was designed by a white guy, all right, and invented by a white guy. And these particular shoes are the Justin Timberlakes, and they were worn by a white guy during, what was that? What was that? Super Bowl, whatever. You can Google it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, moving on here. People just refuse to accept reality. Yes, you don't have to rub it in my face. I'm aware of the gun laws. I'm aware of the changes that even Hasbro themselves were trying to toy around with by turning G1 Megatron here. Well, this is my goodbye Megatron into something blue, orange, pink, yellow. In other words, he would be gay! Gayatron. Rainbowtron. That's what they were going to turn this into. And it was never going to work. I would buy it as a gag gift or for the goof. But then again, like I said, he's going to topple over because that's what these G1 Megatrons do, because they are very floppy in the crotch area. And I'm sure the it, what, who pronoun weirdos out there love floppy crotches. Ha, 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 ha. See what I did there? But this debate is just so ridiculous and so absurd. First off, I'm a grown-ass man, okay? I care more about my rent. I buy this for escapism. It's not real. These aren't real things. I mean, yeah, they're real. They're tangible. I mean, yeah, they're toys. But I mean, we don't have fucking transforming robots walking the streets, going to shop over at Walmart. Okay, folks? Get over it. It's like the Star Wars freaks. Okay? Star Wars isn't real. You don't have the Force. You don't have mind control. All right? We don't have lightsabers. There are no TIE fighters. Stop that. Get fucking real. Get real. This is meant for escapism. But even when it comes to something innocent like toy collecting and collecting Megatrons and Transformers toys, the fucking people are just goofy even with this shit. I thought the sports card hobby was bad. I see what's going on in the Pokemon TCG space. It's all screwed up. Same thing with the sports card hobby. You all see how I bitch, moan, whine, and complain about the post office. I'm not even going to get into that. But the simple fact of the matter is, leave well enough alone, okay? If people want to have their opinions towards whether or not this is a tried and true G1 Megatron, well, shut the fuck up and let people talk when it comes to this sort of thing. Because people like me who grew up with this stuff, and I'm sure that most of the people that are bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining, well, get over it. They're never going to make another G1 Megatron. Yeah, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have fucking Transformers in the first place, Junior. All right, Daddy Spank. This is not G1 Megatron, no matter how much you try to sugarcoat it, no matter how much you try to sell it online or on YouTube or whatever the hell. He is a fraud and a fake. He looks like Megatron. He's a good representation of G1 Megatron, but he will never be the genuine article. That is. He is. He is. So is he. So is he. In this continuity with Transformers Prime, these two Megatrons work well. I'll even give War for Cybertron a little nod here and a little bit of credit, because in that continuity, in that universe, fine. He's a tank. I can accept that. I have the fucking thing sitting right here on my kitchen countertop. As much as I hate this thing, and I hated War for Cybertron, it was the most miserable, disgusting, overly emotional, just piece of shit that you can ever see on your TV screen. Ugh. These Megatrons are different because in the continuity of G1, he took on the name of his predecessor, the G1 Megatron. He even took his spark and became Dragon Megatron after Tarantulas betrayed him and dumped him into the lava in front of the Ark. Yes, I watched those cartoons and the TV series again and again and again, so I am well versed in G1 and Beast Wars and Beast Machines. Again, Galvatron's a dick. Get real, folks. Get real. This is not important to me. Paying my bills and paying my rent is. But when I see people coming on to my channel, you know, and trolling the comments and saying all this dumb stuff, I'm going to nuke you. You're going to be blocked from the channel. You're not going to be able to comment. All right? Because you're not going to sell me on something that I can clearly see with my fucking eyes. It's like this. Yo, it's all about black culture. No, it's not. A white guy invented these. And a white guy wore them, especially these particular shoes. And a white guy designed them. Stop appropriating my culture. Don't be Leah Thomas. This is the Leah Thomas of Transformers. I'm sorry to say it. That's what it is. Now, as a placeholder for a tried and true Megatron, he fits. But I will never transform him into that tank ever again like I did in my review on this channel. I'll transform, especially, if any of you have ever seen reviews of this guy, this is one of the most frustrating Megatrons that are out there. Well, technically Hegemon. But it's a frustrating transformation, but at least he transforms into a gun. Perfect. New Age Romulus, or New Age Romulus, however you want to pronounce it. Perfect. I wish he was bigger to match up with Studio Series Prime. Perfect representation of G1 Megatron. These guys, once again, in their universe, they're the exception. They can be a Cybertronian jet. That's fine. Got no problem with that. Because that's a retelling of the original Transformers. That's fine. They're not trying to pass it off as G1. Even though many of the voice actors, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, etc., did reprise their roles as Megatron and Optimus Prime, not a problem for me. Tankatron. Another Tankatron right here. But again, it's not G1 Megatron. It's a retelling of the franchise that we all love and massage and care about. And we you know, I'm like many of you. I love Transformers, man. I grew up with it even as an adult. Again, I have rent to pay first, then escapism next. But you cannot tell me he's G1 Megatron. I don't want to hear that stupid argument. You're never going to make a G1 Megatron as a gun ever again. Explain him. Apparently somebody did already. And somebody was nice enough to actually make a knockoff G1 Megatron, even though this thing had problems. Anybody that bought this knockoff off of eBay, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I made a whole video about it. But that's how he was marketed back in the days. That's the original, tried and true, one and only, God's honest Megatron. A Walther P-38. Every other Megatron is a fraud if you're trying to pass him off as a tank. Sorry, it's not G1. It's not G1 continuity. In this continuity, he can be a tank. Fine, I'll give you that. In this continuity, he could be a Cybertronian jet. Fine. In the continuation of G1, when it comes to Beast Wars and Beast Machines, these Megatrons here, they could be dragons and dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. Galvatron's still a dick. Do I really need to give you a visual fix on all of this? Have we really lost our intelligence quotients in this goofy land of plenty where we have 18 to 20 different flavors of cereal, where we have hundreds and hundreds of choices of sneakers and shirts to wear? I mean, that's a countertop made out of wood. This is a camera stand, all right? These are eye drops. This is dish detergent. Stop trying to change reality. Reality doesn't revolve around you. You are already in reality. And trying to make up things like pronouns, for example, to try to pretend that you're more important than what you really are, to you pronoun it, what, who freaks that are out there. You have to shit, you have to fart, you have to burp, you have to involuntarily blink your eyes, you have involuntary heartbeats, okay? You have to wake up in the morning, you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all right? You have to breathe in the oxygen, and once you are gone through your lifespan, you will end up in a grave, or you could be cremated or shot out into outer space, or have your head cut off and be cryogenically freezed. That's all up to you. That's what makes us truly equal. Nobody's special. So stop trying to make up the fact that you think in your own brain that you're more special and more important because you have a sexual fetish or a deviancy or something like that. You're not special. You're just a freak. You can't control your sexual urges. That's what it's all about, folks. Your brain is, miswired. This is a knife. This is a food scale. These things are what they are. Stop trying to make something into something it's not, folks. God almighty, are you people dumb. You don't need a college degree to figure this shit out. And besides, I'm going to even say this, and I've said this before, no one controls these hobbies. No one, in particular, we have a certain Jeff Wilson that's out there, allegedly, who's trying to control the sports card hobby. He wants to be baseball card Jesus when he's not. All right, I think most of us know, like Dan the Card Man and Sports Card Dad, and in particular, we have Sports Card Radio, and Pat the NES Punk, who calls out fuckery that goes on in the gaming space, not tripping, who calls out bullshit in the sneaker space. I'm calling out bullshit in the Transformer space because at the end of the day, nobody controls these hobbies. These are just my opinions. However, there are certain facts that are involved that are undeniable when it comes to continuity. Continuity, folks. Canon, continuity. He is not G1 Megatron. He is a tank. He could be Devastation Megatron, but he's not G1 Megatron. He's a fraud. He's the Leah Thomas of Transformers. Too bad. I'm done. Bye.